start the recording because Connie will need to watch the recording. As always, if you're watching the recording, please take the time when we do different activities. Take time to do the activity yourself during the silence that's on the recording. When Paul wrote his first letter to the Corinthians, he had to address the situation that was threatening to tear the church apart. The Christians in Corinth were quarreling among themselves and dividing into factions based on whose teaching and leadership they preferred, Paul's or Apollos. Some Corinthians tried to one-up the others by saying that they followed only Christ. All the Corinthian factions were missing the point, that Christ unites all believers and works through each one's unique gifts and personality to produce results. Paul wrote some strong words to correct this misunderstanding. When I came to you, brothers and sisters, I did not come proclaiming the mystery of God to you in lofty words of wisdom, for I decided to know nothing among you except Christ Jesus and Him crucified. And I came to you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. My speech and my proclamation were not with plausible words of wisdom, but with a demonstration of the Spirit and of power, so that your faith might not rest in human wisdom, but on the power of God. Paul was the church's first great apostle to the nations. He brought the gospel where it had never been. Starting many new churches, countless people came to faith in Jesus through Paul's ministry. Paul's ministry undeniably produced results. Yet, his words to the Corinthians reveal that he was clear about his role. Paul focused on the process of preaching the gospel, but he knew that only God could bring people to faith in Jesus Christ. So Paul did not feel any pressure to make people believe by impressing them with powerful, persuasive words. He summed up his truth in 1 Corinthians 3:6, saying, I planted the seed, Apollos watered, but God made it grow. Paul took a process approach to his ministry. He focused on what he could do and left to God what only God could do. God brought about marvelous results. Working through the process, Paul diligently carried out. That's the way it is for Christians today in our calling. You'll engage in the process of listening to and caring for your care receivers. And you'll trust God to bring about the results in your care receivers' lives. You focus on what you can do and leave to God what only God can do. Taking this process approach gives you true freedom to care for others, knowing that their ultimate well-being depends not on you, but on God. In this session, we're going to explore the process approach to caring you. Okay, that makes no sense. We're going to explore the process approach to caring you read about in your pre-class readings. Okay, we'll compare process and results approaches, practice focusing on the process of caring, and apply a process approach to your own life experiences. Let us begin this learning process with a prayer. Almighty God, you're always in the process of blessing us, giving us good gifts, strengthening our faith, meeting our needs, and giving us new life. Thank you for working through us to care for others. Bless us with wisdom to distinguish between what you want us to do and what only you can do. Please give us faith to fully entrust our care receivers and all whom we love into your mighty care. We give our time and ourselves to you now and eagerly await all you will do in and through us during this class. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. We're going to have one group of four.
That works?
I want you to break up into a group and elect one person as a care receiver, one person as a caregiver, and two people as observers. All right. break up into your group and do that. Don't everybody talk at once. Or somebody could just volunteer one of those positions or both of them.
Or you can assign them.
Or that's what's going to happen next.
Okay, I'll be a caregiver because I know how to be a caregiver.
All right, you're going to be a caregiver.
I mean, let me rephrase that. I may learn a lot about being.
Yes. Yeah, you're going to play the part of the caregiver. All right, who's going to be the care receiver? Okay. All right, I need to meet out in the hallway with Francis, and the rest of you concentrate on focus group 1. Yeah, big book.
It's page 89 in your name.
Okay, thank you.
I know, we're all struggling to get back in the group. And I might be
Francis,
interested.
all right, y'all just dwell on that a minute. Francis and I are going to go talk.
You're already, go later, we're gonna get some.
We're
going to leave the same today.
know what that we're
I think kind of the outreach with what you're doing. You take one of the scenarios. There's a biggest. No, this one you just do it yourself. Create a scenario of what you're gonna be doing, what she's got happening, how she feels about it, what's her primary need, what's been going on. That we can use, don't make it from personal experience. And don't base it on somebody, it needs to be fictional, you don't understand. But just make up some, okay.
She's the caregiver.
She's the caregiver.
But I didn't know it was I mean, I didn't know.
Well, just make up a story that's from her, you're the care receiver.
Receiver, yes.
Yes, from her. Make up a story of what she's been going through, how it's been, what her needs are, so that she can answer the questions. You two are done for the reactions. We don't have to say about that, if you actually hear the reaction.
You straighten her out.
I got her straightened out.
I don't know if they had time to also make up their little scenario, because they.
Oh.
We can be creative.
Okay, just be creative.
All right. All right.
Hazel, use all your creative genius.
All right, be creative, Hazel.
Okay. Are we on the page? So what are we doing? Yes, 89.
All right,
I mean, are we doing?
you need to describe the situation. You know, like it says in focus group 1. What is the care receiver's age and primary need of care? And number 2, how long has this need been going on? And what feeling is the care receiver experiencing? And what does the care receiver most want from the caregiver? Look at focus group 1 there.
You don't need to do that or that.
Focus note 1.
Well, if you want to do it, that's fine. She's got something already made up.
Oh, you got something made up? All right, tell Francis about it.
Now, we watched them too.
You want me to read that question?
Yeah.
What is the care receiver's age? Primary need for care. I put 50.
All right.
And I put grief.
What kind of grief?
She's lost her mate.
How long ago's that been?
2 years.
And she's still breathing on her?
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Grief. Grief.
What the man told me to do. Am I doing good?
You're doing good.
Oh, I'm close enough.
All right. Go ahead, don't get off track.
Did I go home?
It's not,
No.
well, I had never been there, but I would think 2 years, have plenty of time to think about it.
But you think about it every day.
Have you talked to her about it?
I talked to her.
Yeah, you told me.
Go ahead.
Got to go home.
You gonna
Aren't you glad you volunteered to be caregiver?
They deserve it.
You're observing.
They told me the person I could be.
I'm running over.
I thought you said it.
She's off to a good start. Go ahead.
It's nothing, about you, okay? It's about Joel smacking the land if I don't do it right.
But it's what feelings is the care receiver experiencing. Depression, anxiety, loneliness,
Does she ever get out and do anything with anybody?
she needs to.
Depression. If she could get out and do some things, she'd feel a lot better.
Well, that would help. But loneliness is, even though she gets out and does things, or I do things, you can't always be with someone. Lots of time you're by yourself, a lot. So you're gonna experience loneliness. Need help.
Does she not watch TV or anything?
Yeah, she watches it some.
But she's still lonely.
Yes, they do.
Watch the right crazy people on there, Mike. You don't want to be one of them. Wonder where they came from. But anyway, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
I think someone is a good listener. I don't think they're bad.
Oh, but I would know what I would know what I should be listening to. I might not think you're saying the right things or talking about it right. I'm here. You ought to do what I say.
What?
Take one more minute.
I'm giving myself a heart attack. We got one more minute. You're not kidding.
That's enough. All right, all right, let's go on. Observers, what do you think?
Well, to me, I think it was kind of harsh, but somebody that has never lost a person or in that situation would probably, they wouldn't understand. That's my opinion.
What do you think, Hazel?
Even if they had lost, each people can show compassion, but not really understand until they go through it. But still, they're kind and they want to show compassion and empathy, and she put in a lot of what she thinks she should do.
Mhm.
Did you say she was process driven or result driven?
I don't know.
I
Process driven.
No, I think she was result driven. She didn't follow the process that we did learning.
Well, she finally said you need to do what I.
Yeah.
you to do.
Yeah,
She said,
so she was trying to solve the problem, wasn't she?
well, it's an odd way of solving it, being that.
Well, as Stephen ministers, we're not supposed to be solving the problem. We're following a process to help that person.
But we're supposed to show, lots of love, kindness,
Empathy.
and listen, yeah.
That's exactly right. You want to do everything opposite of what she did.
But I'm saying
And
something.
I told her to be obnoxious.
Yeah,
And she did a good job.
She did a good job. Was it easy?
No, it wasn't. That was directly opposite of me.
I know that. That's fine.
It was hard. It was hard.
Just as a quick aside, basically, you two know, you Joanne McMillan,
Oh, yeah.
she did that part the first time we did it. And of all the things I've taught in student ministry, the number of times we went through that course, nobody's ever done the job Joanne did. She
Did she take them apart?
she took them apart.
It was hard for me to do that. I mean, it was hard for me to do.
All the little skills she got into more than
But
everybody.
I have come across that. I'm not saying, that was bad, but, I mean, I'm just saying I have come across where people would ask something and they would report.
See, easy.
And I don't think they meant it, but they come across aggressive,
And it's easy to get into that mode.
Mhm.
But that's not Stephen ministry. Stephen
Yeah.
ministry is to follow the process.
And,
Listen, be confidential about it, be loving.
and I think we think a person that has never lost somebody, and we don't know how they feel, so we come across the wrong way.
Yeah. So we don't want to solve the problem. That's the big thing. You're right.
All right, well, actually, Robert was up, but I'm up now.
Yeah, she and
I think he asked you to do something.
Yeah, yes, well,
Switch your place.
he had something he needs to do it, and hey, we're switch. We'll switch it.
Whatever. Let me see if I can find this.
Francis, you did a good job of being obnoxious.
But if I, if that is acting like that. That's right.
And most of us would.
So you wanna listen to me.
And that was the whole point you're supposed to get from this little practice was that,
That was the way that people come across to me, and I thought,
yeah,
you know,
that was the whole purpose of this.
they reinforced to me, and I know they didn't mean it, but that's just the way they come across.
Been there, done that too.
Mhm.
But that was the whole,
I was just a little girl at that time. I wasn't even a
that was,
teenager then.
yeah, that was the whole purpose of this practice was to,
12 years old, and I thought,
I don't know, I think this is Robert's up here. Or is that yours? Okay.
Maybe they do. And some people don't know how to do it.
So in light of that, we're going to go, give me just 1 second here. We're going to go on to the next session, which is process goals, which is what we were just, and what that exercise was just showing you, that you need to be process driven, not results driven. And right now, you don't have to have anywhere in your book, you just got to be. I'll tell you in just a second. You've just seen the negative effects of trying to care with a results approach. Now let's talk about how to be sure you're focusing on the process in your caring. You read in Christian Caregiving, A Way of Life, that book y'all just finished, that one important way to remain focused on the process is to think about your goals for caring. Let's look together at a definition of process goals. This will provide an opportunity to review some important elements of a process approach to caring and better understand how to set process goals to guide our caring. Let me get another slide here. All right. Focus note 3 on page 90 in your book contains the beginning of the definition that we're going to build over the next few focus notes. I'll go ahead and read focus note 3. Process goals are actions. They focus on the means, not the end. You focus on what you're doing, not the result you want. And that's not up to you to determine. I mean, God's in charge of the result, not us. When people think about goals, they often think about the final results they hope for. I just skipped one. That's okay. They often think about the final results they hope for. Goals are different. Process goals focus on the actions we plan to do and the skills we bring to the situation. For example, think of college. The desired result is to obtain a degree, but achieving that result involves following a process of attending classes, reading books, writing papers, and studying for tests. Carrying out those actions sets the stage for graduation. Similarly, to be effective in our caregiving, we need to focus on the means, not the end. Using our caring skills such as listening, asking questions, reflecting, validating, and trusting that God will work through our actions to bring about positive results in the care receiver's life. Focus Note 4 on page 91 continues the definition. Would someone please read Focus Note 4? Skip past the title and just read the parts under the title. I think it's probably on the screen for you too.
Read the process goes.
Mhm.
I can do, they focus on what I can control.
Yeah, what you can control. Not what you want your care receiver to control, what you can control. So you focus on what you can control. Your goals are supposed to be met on what you can do. You can control process goals because they focus on what on you yourself will do, not on what you'll try to get someone else to do. Process goals accept the reality that we cannot change others. Only God can. The best we can do is to control our own actions. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Focus Note 5 on the same page continues the definition. Process goals are actions I can do now. They focus on the present. A useful way to make sure your goal is focused on the process is to ask whether it focuses on the present or the future. Process goals focus on the present. They describe what you can do in the here and now with your care receiver. Results goals focus on what the care receiver may do sometime in the future. The in the present nature of process goals is part of what makes this care as powerful. One of the best ways you can care for your care receivers is to be fully present with them, offering your complete moment-by-moment attention the entire time you're together. Eye contact, focus on them. Your physical presence and undivided attention affirms care receivers, tells them you care for them, shows you're interested in what they have to say, and helps them feel worthwhile. Your presence in the moment also helps care receivers pay full attention to your own thoughts and their own thoughts and feelings. You learned in the module on feelings that an important step for emotional healing is to recognize and accept one's own feelings. Be fully present with care receivers helps them do that. A lot of times we don't really know what we're feeling until we talk to somebody about it, and then the tears start flowing because we realize what's really deep down here that's aching and hurting us. All right, Focus Note 6 continues the definition. Would someone please read the two parts beneath the title in Focus Note 6? They're on the screen for you if it's easier to read that or from your book.
Process goals are actions I can do now. They concentrate on the other person's needs. They focus on servanthood.
That's right. In Christian Caregiving, A Way of Life, you read about distinguishing servanthood from servitude. Process goals lead to servanthood. With process goals, you focus on meeting the care receiver's need rather than your own. You take yourself out of the equation on what you may need or what you want them to do and focus on their needs when you're there with them. For that period of time, you're focused on them, not what you want. Stephen ministers should not approach their caring relationships as if they're better than their care receivers or have exclusive knowledge and insight. Process goals will help you relate to your care receiver, not as a superior, but as a servant with the same servanthood attitude that Jesus showed. Would someone read how Paul describes Jesus' attitude of servanthood in Focus Note 7 on page 91 to 92? I think my slide skips that one, so if you got it in your book, you would read it. It's Focus Note 7.
Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourself. Each of you should look not only into your own interest, but also the interest of others. Your attitude should be the same as that of Christ Jesus, who began in very nurture God. Do not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but made himself nothing, taking the very nature of a servant and being made in human likeness, and being found in a appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. Philippians 2:3.
With a process approach, you'll humble yourselves in terms of setting your own needs and interests aside in order to dedicate your time and energy solely on doing what will best help meet the needs of your care receiver. When you do this, you're following Jesus' example of servanthood. They may not need to do anything but open and talk and really don't want you to say anything. Just let them talk. A lot of people they've not had an opportunity to talk it out because too many people are
Doing what I was doing.
are too busy telling them what they should feel, what they shouldn't feel. It's been long enough. You shouldn't feel this way anymore. Well, yeah. How do you know? You don't know their hearts, and you don't do that. Okay. Please, Focus Note 8 completes the definition. Would someone please read Focus Note 8? And I think I just took it off the screen, but it should be there in your book on 92.
Definition of process goals. Process goals are actions I can do now that concentrate on the other person's needs and leave the results to God. They focus on caring, not curing.
Caring is what you're focused on, not the end result, not curing their broken heart, not curing their hurt. Focus on caring and letting them know you care. What will happen as you focus on process goals? That's up to God. You know that God loves you, your care receivers, even more than you do. You know that God promises new and eternal life to every Christian. You know that God loved the world so much that he sent his only son to die and to rise so we can be part of God's family. By leaving the results to God, you respect the care receiver's boundaries, not taking responsibility for his or her thoughts, feelings, or actions, and you demonstrate your trust in God. As you care for your care receivers by doing what you're able to do, God will do what only he is able to do. You're showing God's love and care through your being there to care for them. That show them God's love through you, because sometimes people have even lost the feeling that God loves them because they're so deep in their sorrow and in their pain or in their confusion as to what to do. They forget that God's out there. So it's up to you to show that love when they may not have been feeling it for a while. All right, examples of process goals. Focus Note 9 lists some process goals. Take a minute and read through those goals to yourself. It should be right there about 92. Okay, you had time to read that? The goals in Focus Note 9 all fit the criteria of a process goal. They focus on means, not the end. They focus on what you can control, not on what only God and the care receiver can control. They focus on the present, not the future. They focus on servanthood, not on meeting your own needs. They focus on caring, not curing, which is God's business. What other process goals can you think of that meet this criteria? And I'm supposed to have a chart that I can write this down, but obviously we don't have room in here for the flipboard chart. So think of some things and tell us what are some of the things that you can think of that would meet some goals that you could set that would meet the criteria of this, of the, on the screen, the focus on for process goals. How about pray for my care receiver?
What,
Pray for my care receiver. That can be a goal for you. And
that's on number 6.
yeah, but this was just for you to say some goals that you can set for yourself. This is examples here. But what personally, and that's the first one listed on my list, so I guess I didn't go back to this. But anyway, think of some things that you can set as your goals that are process goals, not results goals.
Well, it says here, the process goal is I will actively listen, but that is also a thing we need to, a goal we set for ourselves.
That's right. That's the goal you're setting for yourself.
Yeah,
These process goals are your goals.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm going to listen. That's a perfect one. And it's, I am going to do, not they are going to do.
That's what, I mean,
I am going to
that's
do.
one of the first things.
It absolutely is.
So what bothers me, how do you get them to start talking?
You ask, what are you feeling today? That's one of the first things you can do when you go in is say, well, how are you feeling today? What's been going on? You know, how are you making it? How are you feeling? And let them, if you'll hit a question, that they'll start talking. Sometimes they're ready to talk when you get there and they just start spilling it out. Sometimes you don't have to ask any questions or do anything to get them started. So you but don't ask questions about, well, what have you been doing about this? It's something that they've got to have been doing, and that's setting a goal for them. But things like, one of the first things, well, how you been doing? How you feeling today? What's been going on with you? And eventually they'll get started talking. And sometimes all you got to do is sit there and listen to them and say, oh, really? Well, yeah, tell me more about that, or how you feeling today about that? And just reflect what they're saying to you, reflect it back to them, and it will encourage them to continue to share. And it will build. I don't think I've ever had a time that somebody didn't just talk. Most of the time, if they're comfortable with you, if you've built that relationship, and you have to do that over a visit or two before they really feel comfortable and understand that you're there and you care and you're not judging them, or you're not, that you're just there to listen and to help them. They will grow in their trust, and they will grow in looking forward to you being there so they can talk to you. And sometimes they don't want you to leave when you're ready to leave. But it's just a matter of the process of it. And after a visit or two, all you got to do is walk in the door and say, well, how have things been going this week? Or what's been going on with you? Or how are things developing? Or, if they've mentioned something to you in the past, well, what did you hear about that? Or just don't make it anything that they feel like they've got to do something about it. You have to respect their thoughts and feelings. Can you think of another personal goal you can set for yourself that I will do that? How about I will do what I can to care for my care receiver and trust God to bring about the results? We have to remind ourselves of that on a regular basis. That it's not about us, and it's not about getting results and getting them past their problem and able to move on. That sometimes takes a long time. I mean, you go into that relationship knowing that you may be going there for a long time. Some other situations are very short term. If we're talking about something like, say you got a mom that's got a new baby and she's overwhelmed with her responsibilities at home and a new baby and don't know don't know how she's coping. Well, usually, within a month or two, she's kind of gotten her issues resolved if she's not in true deep depression. She's gotten her issues kind of resolved and life has gotten kind of started getting back to normal. But in the meantime, you're not there to take care of the baby and change the diapers and give her a break. You're there to listen to her and what her feelings are and what's going on that she's having trouble dealing with, and try to help her work it through in her mind ways that she can handle it. You don't tell her the ways to handle it. You let her work through the ways that she might can handle that and get past the situation. It's good to have some goals in mind of things you can do, and along the way of what your goals are as far as moving your process along. Well, here's some examples of result goals that you don't want to do. I will make my care receiver open up and share his or her feelings. No, you don't do that. I will help my care receiver feel better about herself or himself. You can't do that. That's up to them to talk through and do. I will help my care receiver get rid of his or her difficult feelings. You see, all of these are not things you can do. You will help them do this or that. And that's not a good goal for you. You can say, I will listen so that maybe they will share their feelings and encourage them to share their feelings, but you can't make them share their feelings. Or I will get my care receiver to treat his or her loved ones better. You may see situations that you feel like they need to change, that they're going to have to make some changes, but you don't go in with the goal of making them do that. You go in with the goal of encouraging them to speak and talk. And what are you thinking might help that? What in your mind? What would help that situation, or what do you think you can do that might help that situation? Don't tell them what to do to fix that situation. It's kind of like Bob remarked during the class that I was in. He said, you go into the kitchen and people are sitting there, the person is sitting there talking to you, and they start complaining about their radio's just not playing anymore. They can't get anything on their radio anymore. You look over and you see the cord laying in the floor unplugged. You don't tell them to plug it up. This is an extreme example just to show you what they need to figure out. Well, have you checked all the connections? Are you sure it's, that it's still in working order and it's getting power and that, but it was a funny way for Bob to share that pointed out to you that you don't go in there to fix their problems. You go in there to talk to them and let them talk through it and fix their own situation for themselves.
That's a big temptation.
It is. I know there's been a lot of times I'd like to say, anyway. All right, we move on up to when a caregiver care receiver asks for advice. I want to take a moment now to talk about a possible challenge Stephen ministers may encounter in trying to maintain these kinds of process goals. Sometimes a care receiver may ask for advice with a question like, well, what do you think I should do? Or, if you were in my situation, what would you do? These requests for advice are instances in which it can be very tempting to shift into results focus. Now, it's perfectly fine for your care receiver to ask such a question. It shows that your care receiver trusts you and values your opinion, and it's natural for someone going through a difficult time to look to others for suggestions about what to do. However, you'll need to be careful how you respond so as not to fall into a results mode. Responding with your own personal opinion or a suggestion such as, if it were me, I'd do this, or yes, that seems like the best option right now. Jump straight in trying to solve their situation, Short-circuiting the caring process and the care receiver's wrestling with the issue. Instead of if a care receiver invites you for suggestions or advice, the best way to help is with a process response. Focus note 10 on page 93 gives some examples. Go ahead and take a brief look at that focus note. Focus note 10 on page 93. those types of responses return the issue to the care receiver so he or she can keep thinking through it and come up with an answer. Instead of letting a request for advice shift your focus away from the process, you can trust God to help your care receiver work through the questions as you continue to provide care. And you wouldn't ever say, well, I can't tell you what to do. I'm not supposed to do that. I mean, that wouldn't be the appropriate response. You say, you ask them, well, what are you thinking about? What looks like a good situation for you?
Do you not sometimes have people just continue to ask those questions?
Um, Well, much if you can get them out by asking them, what are you thinking about doing? What are your thoughts about it? A lot of times they will move on. They may ask you the same question again in a day or later that time or whatever. But then you still do, well, I'm not in your situation. I don't know what what are you thinking? Tell me your thoughts about that. Tell me your thoughts of what you think might be a good thing to do.
I don't have the same rules, but I see breast cancer people, they sometimes really want me to tell them.
Yes, ma'am. I can see where they would because you've been through it.
What they need to do.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep.
And I can't anyway. I mean, I could. We don't have that particular rule that we can't tell them what. But it has to be them
That's right.
who makes it.
Them and God.
Thinks about it,
Mhm.
prays about it, whatever. I just
Ab- Absolutely.
relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just always have to keep in your mind that you're the reason you're there is not to fix it for them. It's not to fix the situation for them. It's not to solve their problem. It's to help them work through their problem and find a way out of the end of the tunnel. Because sometimes they're so far they're in such a dark tunnel that they don't know how to get out, and they just
Terrified. They don't want to go home.
That's right. They just need you to provide that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, we're going to take a 15-minute break now, and we'll get back here about 10 after and start on the next session.
What activity are you doing?
Start with 3. Activity 3 is the next one. I did 2.
Yeah, I just take 15 minute break. But it's just 15 minute break. I was in here. That's gonna be interesting.
Well, she hopes to get these out of here if she can get the truck here.
Yeah.
They don't want to bring the truck yet.
You may just have to work around it. That's what I'm saying.
You may work around it. If it's gone, that's fine. But we gotta have to have it in here. Someplace else to have it.
Yeah. Well, yes, ma'am.
Mail. What we can do is, they're going to have to move some of them needs to be moved back. If they can move them all back there, that's fine, ain't no problem.
I mean, you expecting?
We don't know, that's what we're saying yet.
Okay.
They're gonna let me know today.
He's good.
But some of them have to be moved.
Are you having a meal? Are you having a meal? A meal? Or are you doing things?
Okay, so y'all gonna leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to have to bring that.
Yeah, that's the case. At least once. But I haven't. I was really. It's not.
When the guy got fired.
It's churches. We're just so busy, so many things to do.
It's on the, it's on past there. Well, I'm a fixer. I'm a fixer. I fix everything.
Sunday school class.
Well, I mean, I hadn't looked at the hours, I was keeping up with what my volunteer hours were. I just have to-
Their drop off is from 9 to 11. Right.
Okay,
And they're gonna be coming in here?
yeah, they'll be coming in here dropping shoes off.
But thing is, if I can get them out of here by 11, if I get these out of here by 11, we can have a meal on the table. No problem. I can't. No, but the problem is getting them out of here. Getting those.
Yeah, you know, having them through is what you're saying. And she's gotta get set up.
She said, Priya's gonna get moved out of here. I don't know where they're putting them. They can't keep going nowhere, they're probably having big points stuff. Okay.
There was a bunch of them.
That's what they're, if they can get these out of here, we can get the truck there, that's the main thing.
The truck would have to go over there though.
They have to carry them over there.
Yeah.
And it won't take long, but
Yeah.
I just have to have this thing ready to snap my fingers.
Yes, ma'am. What you doing?
Hey,
Hey, where's the little envelopes that we, hey, no, it's okay.
what?
Little envelopes, little envelopes of what?
I need the little thing that goes with, I've got my boxes fixed, but I don't have, I was supposed to put the check.
Put the money in.
Oh, let me go look. I don't know if she's got anything, I don't know if she's got anything out there on the.
Well, so, okay,
Let me see.
I thought there,
I know that law.
she laid it one in the. Said, Lori, about it. He called me yesterday, but I didn't get to talk.
Oh.
Yeah, I was here, you wanted to study, I didn't know he was gonna speak, he wanted to speak. This company said,
I knew what he was trying to do.
he is good, he.
And it's, this week, I mean, I would have, you never would either.
Is something in his
To not do any of that kind of. Well,
He's getting, see him.
learning.
We might make some mistakes.
Next
It's a lot to get in your mind. I read it on different times.
That's one.
Yeah.
I think the breast cancer patients, did you?
She's
I had, it's been 6 years ago now that I had. Well,
Just give it to Lori.
so I see the.
Okay, I didn't learn.
Two of us. And now the had colon it's amazing to me the people we have with breast cancer. So usually they spend one night in the hospital and I leave in the next morning before they go home. And this is kind of, now I can say you need. I mean, other than being a doctor or a nurse, they know. But sometimes you get those questions that you're
Yeah.
No, I don't have that. I don't have, when I see them.
I'm like, this is it's a real changes on it.
This, where you get this, the 19th, probably was done, don't do it, there you go, there's some years. This can be some things. Nobody don't matter, I just was trying to keep track of which one I was in. Just. Oh, mercy. Well, and that's very true, it's not a good thing. They encourage you to get up there just to read the script, and Robert's got, he was thrilled that he started with six specific things. It'd be the reason. Short. He's got a lot. It just was, yeah, it just.
Somebody's coming to help me, but they're not helping.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either, yeah. It just all depends on what their situation is, and what kind of help that they need, emotionally or business. I mean, I don't know. As a caregiver, I wouldn't know that some days when I'm told about it. It's Stephen Minister, you know, they'll tell you about it, you have.
I reckon they.
Yeah, they can tell you, you can. You can't say, hey, I'm gonna meet with this man over here, you know, this year in this situation.
I can't,
I'm just using you as an example.
I can't tell anybody about it, and I wouldn't, but I can't tell anybody outside the hospital.
Yeah.
But she can say whatever she wants to there. And you're, it's very hard to get up. And she's always done that. This, these situations that we're fixing to bring, I mean, they're big time problems. And you're not, can't say anything. I don't know. Right here, this man, he's been fired from his job. And he feels guilty because he got fired because of the way he was acting. And then if they don't have enough to make their things, he's embarrassed and ashamed. He's not sure if he can ever get another job at this job. I would love him. I have a life.
We're sending the guy to the doctor.
Where he got that will be man. Because they
Yeah,
don't
I would say, yeah, that would be,
that.
I'm thinking it's the same as possible.
well, good morning. I have seen, on TV, this is just TV where I have seen, like, that movie where the man, like you say, the man, he goes like it's his sixth. And he keeps going to work at the same time, and I don't know what he's doing, and he shows it, don't show him what he's doing, but he's still going in case, you know, so he just has to go on the back. And looking for a job, he's just going like, I guess, a coffee house or somewhere to stay. He's not buying anything because he don't have money to buy, but he's just like going, you know, and unless you're buying a cup of coffee or getting water or something, you can't do that there in a restaurant. Because you're taking up their space. In my process of 30 years, I have some big stuff. Well, they draw me to the center. The way the situation is, the way you go now, used to you didn't have to go looking for a job. Now, if you own employment, you have to go look each week, and you have to see 3 references. Because I had to do that when we lived in a, there was a plant up there. They were taking our taxes out, but the office was not sending it in. So they got them, but it shut us down. But I was already living there, when still, Robert was young. And he was still a school pastor. And it happened that they closed, and I feel bad for them, but for me, I still had to go through that process. Well, I was honest with the people. I said, they would hire me, but I was just honest, I'm gonna be moving. And they understood, that I appreciated the offer of the job, but I couldn't take it because I didn't feel like, that was fair to the company. So, one of them said, and I told him, but I'm going, I don't know right now, I don't know where I'm going. They hadn't decided, and I told my husband, I said, I don't know where I'm going.
Where is the second relationship down with you?
No.
I don't think I've ever been down.
And you know, the line, it's above, you like go up to the Watkins,
Oh, yeah.
it's got,
Something that's over east of him.
right, it's over.
Southeast of him.
Now, I'm not good with my, it's 85 miles from here.
They can make a statement like that. You said, well, don't you think that you're gonna be out?
It's, yeah.
Is anybody else right or is it just me?
It's,
Is there anyone else right or is it?
it's not just you, but I'm wearing.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Right. I lived there for a year and a half. So, yeah. It's a nice little town.
Oh,
And,
but with that way, they had that church.
That's okay.
Where they have people come from South America and.
where they do like artifacts and stuff, everybody, do they do that? Cause there's several places that I have to go to, they do like cook the chicken. What?
I noticed she's cooking a chicken.
Who's cooking the chicken?
Really?
Well, it is warm.
72, 2 minutes ago.
Oh,
No, you're telling the cool up to 75 and you left the heat alone.
I didn't touch the
We definitely started something.
The 67?
I did what I did. That's what it did. That's what I'm saying, yeah. I've been airing it and when I keep it over. I did that, one boxes hit me at work. And I've always been, I believe really, the corner of, and what it does, the corner, instead of, that's what it just, that way, just like, about that much. So tonight I've got to uncover it for a little while, let it air and clean it again, and then put my stuff on it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's warm.
It is, hey, it's a lot warmer, it's a lot warmer here than it is over there.
That is.
It's a lot warmer here than it is there.
But there's a vent right there over you.
They'll tell you different. My
Okay,
hand's always cold.
Yeah, you don't have to change it again until we go to 4. It's got it on the right slide, but this one, you don't have to
That's
change
what
it.
it's saying. So it's 2 hours.
You know where the box that had the book satchels in it went to? No? I wrote to my office, that's not there.
Well, but when you go to get your driver's license, anything to do with court, you have to go to Redoubt.
John wanted to sell last night.
No, I'm talking about when I was growing up. Redoubt.
Where did you grow up?
Okay,
Roanoke, Alabama.
let's get to work. Come on now.
He just came in here stirring trouble, and then he left.
All right. Now, we talked about how we got to follow the process and not the
So,
results. But we're going to now talk about the importance of results. The importance of results, not the results that we've got to accomplish. In a little bit, we're going to explore how to provide care in a way that focuses on the process. But before we do, I want to underscore something that was touched on in your pre-class reading. Results are important. As Stephen ministers, you want your care receiver to successfully find their way through whatever crisis they're facing. To find hope, to experience God's healing love, it's just that you, as a Stephen minister, cannot make that result happen. The only way to help your care receiver experience positive results is to focus on the process of caring, listening, emphasizing, affirming, understanding, and to trust God to bring about that healing. Look at focus note 11 on page
93.
93. I thought it was on 93. Look at focus note 11 and somebody read them.
My care receiver will share their feelings. My care receiver will feel better about themselves. My care receiver's painful feelings will go away. My care receiver will resolve their situation. My care receiver will relate better to other people. My care receiver will feel more hopeful about the future. And my care receiver will grow spiritually and be close to God.
They're good, reasonable goals. But notice one thing about them. None of them talk about what you will do. They talk about what the care receiver will do or experience. Each of them focus on what the care receiver is going to do, which means that they're out of the Stephen minister's control. Only the care receiver, with God's help, can make them happen. And if you, as a Stephen minister, were trying to create or force those results by your own efforts, you might end up with some not so good results like those in Focus Group 12 on 94. Somebody read Focus Group 12 on 94.
The care receiver might become resentful of the Stephen minister for trying to force a particular solution or result on it. The care receiver might simply go along with the Stephen minister's efforts and become dependent on the Stephen minister, which would get in the way of personal growth. The care receiver might feel pressured or manipulated into making changes or acting differently so as not to disappoint the caregiver. The care receiver might not be emotionally ready to make those changes and may end up feeling worse when they don't happen. The care receiver might feel the Stephen minister's love and acceptance was conditional on thinking, acting, or feeling a certain way.
As a caregiver in Stephen ministry, over the years I've experienced, and Sandra, I bet you've experienced too, is you want to get into the results. You're tempted to counsel with a person on results. Honestly, we're pretty much can-do kind of people, and you want to help them, but help them in some way other than as the Stephen minister, because we want to help lead them into solving their problem. When we focus on results instead of the process, the care receiver and the caring relationship will suffer. The end result will be lower quality care. As a Stephen leader and Stephen ministers, we do want results, but we always need to remember that God is the one who brings the results. Our role is to focus on the process of caring. So let's look at how you do that. And then, you doing that, or Robert's doing that? How to focus on the process of caring. In your book, little book,
Well, you can start it, but when the electric men get here, I've gotta go.
Okay, I'll do it.
you do.
Here's your 4, by then I should be able to do 5 and 6 and finish the book.
Okay.
I am so sorry.
Well, that's all right. 4 is pretty simple.
Well, I'll do, I mean, we all have prepared on all this stuff. We should
Yeah.
be able to do what we need to do, so,
We try to be ready to jump in.
Yeah.
Trying to get the points moved today.
Okay. All right. We're going to now how to focus on the process of caring. For this next activity, form groups of 3. Well, we can't do that. And spread around the room. We're going to just let you.
One group of 4.
That's right. We're going to be doing one group of 4. Then choose one person in your group to be the recorder and take notes on your discussion. All right, you don't have to move, but one of y'all can decide who's going to take the notes on your discussion. It's not a big thing. You got to just make a few notes on the list here. Francis, you get volunteered for everything, don't you? Because you're.
Ugly to people.
Nope, you don't. All you got to do is take notes. Did a good job, too. Okay. All right. Now we're going to look at some caregiving situations and think about process goals for caring in those situations. We'll do one situation together as a class, and then each group will work separately on 2 additional caregiving situations. Well, you're going to all be working on them, obviously, because we don't have enough people to divide up like that. Would someone read Focus Note 13 on page 94?
Evan was recently fired from his job and is dealing with a lot of difficult feelings. He's married and has 2 young children, and he feels as if he's left because he and his wife are now struggling to make ends meet on just her salary. He's embarrassed and ashamed to have been fired. He is also very angry with himself because he knows his own lack of focus and effort are the main reasons he lost his job. At this point, he's not sure anyone else will ever want to hire him, so he hasn't been able to start thinking about taking his next steps.
Okay. Now let's.
I did on this. When I read it the first time, I started writing what he needed to do. I started.
Results, not process. Okay. Let's brainstorm process goals Evan Stephen Minister could have. Go ahead and call out any ideas you had, and she'll write them down. On that Focus Note 13, there's space on there if you want to write them there. If you've got a notebook, you want to write them in, whatever you want to do. And write down all the suggestions. That's where if we had a whiteboard up here, we could be doing it on it so we could keep them up front, but we don't have them now. Just share them with Francis and let her write down, and we'll discuss them all. About what goals would you set?
Help him to feel positive about himself.
That's a more results goal.
Is that a reason?
Yeah. I will listen to Evan and allow him to voice his negative feelings. That would help him to feel better about himself. But it needs to be goals that focus on what you can do, what you can do to help, not what you wanted as a result. That's the results goal.
Stephen Minister needs to be positive.
I will remain positive when I listen to him.
Well, is this asking him, has he actually looked at that harsh?
That's a result goal.
Okay.
And that can make him feel bad that he hasn't done it. I mean, if you go in, that's kind of well, have you been doing this? You don't want it to be about something they have to do.
Steve Minister needs to be positive and supportive.
Absolutely. That's the main, that should be your main goal in every situation you're in, is to be positive and supportive. How about first thing, ask him questions so he'll talk about his feelings. How are you feeling about it? You know, what's bothering you the most about this? I got more ideas? What's the first thing we're supposed to do for them?
First thing,
Very first thing with the carry receiver. What's the first thing you're supposed to your first goal? I will pray for them. I will pray for them. I will pray for him and offer to pray with him if he's open to do it. That's you can do. It's not up to him to pray. It's up to you to tell him you'll pray with him if he wants to. You got more ideas? What about then let him know that you believe in him?
do what?
Let him know that you believe in him. Yeah, I understand how you're feeling. You know, I understand, your situation. I understand what you're going through. Tell me more about how you feel about that. Tell me more about what's going on with you.
What about understand God forgives him? He's got a problem with forgiveness.
Yeah. Have you talked to God? Have you talked with God about forgiving you for whatever you feel like for whatever your feelings are? You sound like you're feeling like God has abandoned you. Is that what I'm reading from what you say? Do I understand correctly that you feel like God has abandoned you, or that God doesn't care? When he says something about feeling like, God blames him or whatever, then you say, well, okay, am I hearing that you feel like God is not listening to you? Or do you feel like you need to talk to God about this? Okay, I think we better move on to the next one. And this one, it says within your individual groups, but you're all in a group together. You're supposed to do the other two. Focus note 14 on page 95 says, have someone in your group read aloud the caregiving situation in focus note 15. Brainstorm at least 5 process goals a Stephen minister could have in that situation. Recorders, write your group's ideas in the space provided in the focus note. Evaluate your ideas to make sure they're focused on the process of caring. After your group has worked through the caregiving situation, the whole class will discuss the situation. Okay, take about 4 minutes to go through the situation on situation 2 on focus note 15. And come up with your ideas within your group. Come up with try to set 5 process goals for that situation.
Sandra,
Mhm.
the Lord's process goes on. Get confused.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I will, get your hope with you, I will share. I will share Bible verses and pray with her. This one you have to be a little careful about doing that because it's like you're expecting to have the same thing, but you can share it in bits and pieces, you know, just get too detailed at one time.
It's sitting here, the process goes start with the verb,
I can, I will. Yeah, that's fine.
that you said that was. So
But this is help him to,
see that in itself.
yeah, and that's something he has to do. Well, I don't know. You could say that, yes, that is, you're going to facilitate him being able to see the So, yeah, I can see that. We talked about that. I'll put suggestions about what's, that's that. A lot of times when it's felt there, it's more about that's something that you're trying to get them to do. It's that like you're going to do it. So helping them to do it is really more of a results. But you expect them to do that instead of they will. I will listen carefully to his feelings about himself. Reflect his statements. Like you said. This is not, well, that is something that but yeah, I can show you. Okay, y'all discuss that one? I didn't hear much discussion over there. Okay, what about if we just discuss it as a group? We're going to get a little bit out of order here because we only have the one group. So we're going to get a little out of order of what they're suggesting we do. So what about, what are some of your thoughts about ways on Focus Note 15, Caregiving Situation 2? What are some of your thoughts about how? What are some of your group's thoughts about how that you've been putting down there on how you can, your goals for your process goals for dealing with the situation?
First of all, I will listen.
That's always a good first.
I will listen.
I will
Whatever,
actively listen.
whatever she wants to say.
Yeah,
I will
they need to you can nod every once in a while, but let them know that you are listening, and that's the main thing you're there in that for, and that's what the main thing you can do is to listen. Sometimes you have to make a remark along to encourage them to keep speaking, so they know they've still got your attention.
But I don't think we go with, I've been there, done
No, because that's kind of telling them that would be telling them how you handled it and how you think they should handle it, and that's.
What came to me is just my first thing is to go in.
So, oh yeah, I've felt I've done.
Just listen.
Yeah, you don't go and say, oh yeah, I've been in your situation and this is, I mean, yeah, and I did da. Because that's telling them how to handle it because that's what worked for you. And no, you can, and with the conversation, you can say, yeah, I understand I understand why you feel the way you do, or I understand what you're saying, but it's best not to make it personal with your experience because theirs is different and their feelings are different. Their situation is different. And what worked for you, they're such a different person. They might not have your strong personality, your strength, or your character to do it. So it's not a good idea to make what you did a part of what the goal is for them. Absolutely. Others?
I just said pray for or ask if she would like for us to pray together.
That's always a good, any situation. That's always good one to be on your list of goals for them is to, I will pray for them before I go even. I will pray for them. And I will ask them if, they'd like for me to pray with them when you're there. But some people are not comfortable with having people pray for them. So you ask,
Well, I already said listen if they're feeling you know.
Yep. What about,
I will show compassion and empathy.
yes, that's something you're doing, not that you're expecting them to do. How about letting them know that it's okay to grieve? If they're grieving, that's okay. You grieve, you give them permission to grieve. I mean, it's not really your permission to give, but some people need to be told. Grieving is normal. It's okay. And don't let anybody, if they say, well, everybody keeps telling me I should be over this, but now, don't let anybody set time frames on your grief. It's an individual thing. And don't you ever say, well, you should really be feeling better by now. Because that is, that's imposing your results on them. Empathize in her grief. Just, you have to be sure it's empathize and not get so deep in it you're down in the grief with her. That's easy to do. I've been there. I know. If they're grieving over a situation that you've experienced, even if it's been years ago, it's easy to let yourself get into their grief again. And you've got to be able to empathize without taking on their grief in your life and taking it home with you. And if you know of a good support group, you can say, well, there is a good support group for new widows, or there's a good support group for people that have lost a child. And it's good if you kind of look around and see where there may be those sorts of resources, so that it's not pushing something on them. If you tell them, well, if you're interested, I know there is a support group here or a support group there, because a lot of people are actually looking for a support group, to somebody that can help them through their process. All right, now we're going to move on to note 16. I don't know where we are on our slides here. Let me see. Don't really matter. We're going to PC socket's getting low power, so we may be losing that one. So I don't know how far we're going to go before this goes away. All right. All right, move on to focus note 16 and just read through that, and let's do the same thing on it, because it says to work through both through both scenarios. I'm going to just read it with you because I don't like standing here not doing anything. And I know that y'all are all reading it, but Anna's mother-in-law, Clara, has seen her health decline in recent years. About a year ago, when it became clear that Clara could no longer get by on her own, Anna had suggested that Clara move in with her and her husband, Jonathan. They'd all agreed that it seemed like the best arrangement. Since that time, the burden of caregiving has fallen largely on Anna. She has had to cut back her work hours significantly and rarely has time for her own interests. Anna and Jonathan have always enjoyed traveling together, but since Clara moved in, they haven't wanted to leave her with anyone else for any length of time. Increasingly, Anna is overwhelmed by difficult feelings: regret over lost time and missed opportunities, anger and resentment at her mother-in-law for making her feel trapped, and guilty over the anger and resentment. Okay, take 3 or 4 minutes and figure out some process goals. You can share them within your group and see if you can, together you can come up with 5. If you'll share your ideas with each other, maybe y'all can do, come up with 5 goals.
Listens for all of it.
Mother-in-law or
Your mother,
carry with the same group.
you're in the same. Because she said, are you going to bring this to the mother-in-law?
See how she's feeling. about, the situation too.
No, Clara is your, Anna is your care receiver. You won't be talking to the mother.
Maybe she regrets asking mother-in-law to move in.
She didn't know it was gonna be this like that.
Maybe this long, so.
This is something, and I will interject here, and it doesn't usually happen. But in a situation like this, when you schedule your visit time, you need to kind of clarify that all right, in this case, Anna is the care receiver, that she is going to have time to talk to you without Clara, without the mother-in-law present. That she's going to have time to set aside and visit with you, that somebody else can be taking care of the mother-in-law, because if the mother-in-law is sitting there, she's not going to feel free to talk to you. If she's sitting in the room, she can't say what she needs to say, and you can't say what, you can't encourage her to talk as much. And sometimes you got a mother-in-law that'd sit there and take up the whole conversation. Not that you don't care about the mother-in-law, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're sympathetic toward them too. And if she's the care receiver, then she's the one you need to talk to. But it's really best if you don't have other people in the room on the conversation. If you can have some time, if it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever they can set aside, just some time for the two of you to talk in a place that you can talk.
Well, I guess it all depends on how much care that person has to have.
That's right. It does. And see, we've had a couple that we wanted to do care for that we couldn't because they couldn't have a, they couldn't help.
What the issue is with the mother-in-law.
That's right.
That would be if she has to have every waking moment, except for when they're asleep.
Yep.
A little bit of sleep, then that would be.
Well, it says they're reluctant to leave her for any length of time, but maybe they have a friend that could sit with her, or that something that she could do for 45 minutes, because you're nearly going to have some time to talk with them. That's not with somebody sitting there listening. I've had one situation I can think of that I never really got fully involved in because we couldn't find a time, couldn't set aside a time that they could actually sit and talk. And if there's so many distractions, you'll never develop that close relationship if they're constantly distracted and having to get up and leave, or having to, go check on somebody. But let's just take the situation as if she's mother-in-law is taken care of somewhere for that period of time, and you're just dealing with Anna, with your goals for her, your process goals for her. And since we're kind of running out of time, we'll just go over some. Have you thought of some?
Well, I guess ask her, what's the best time?
Yeah, when you set the time.
Yeah. How long? No, I'm looking at asked her too long. Too much.
No. And
Ask her,
that's one of your initial calls before you really start the visit.
Yeah.
It would be to
Say if you've got
is there
30 minutes.
is there a good time and how much time that we can set up to meet? But that comes even before you go to see them, because you need to have that planned into your visit. Yeah. But what would be one of your first things when you first go and you knock on the door and you go visit with them? What would be one of your first?
Listen.
How you feeling? How you feeling today? What's been going on with you? Get them to tell you the situation don't pry. Just ask about their feelings and what's been happening with what's been happening for you. How's your day been? Just something to get the conversation going. Well, first off, your first visit, you're going to introduce yourself and get all that done. But anyway, this is some of the questions that this suggests, because we're going to run out of time. So I'm just going to run through a few of these, and then we're going to turn it over to Robert. Ask how she's adapted to Clara's role in her life. What have you been doing to adapt to the role? Get the story. Listen attentively and reflect her thoughts and feelings. Help her explore her feelings about caring for Anna. I will validate Anna's feelings, letting her know that it's perfectly okay to feel the way she does, because she's probably feeling guilty, and it's okay. You can feel what you feel. Nobody can tell you that the feelings they're your feelings, not somebody else's. I will help Anna think through her own strategies for handling and responding to her difficult feelings. Don't tell her what to do. You say, well, have you had any ideas about how to deal with this? Or what are your thoughts about how to deal with this? And get them to talk about where they are and not what your goals are for them.
You
Okay.
don't talk about, this is a question,
Yeah,
but I think I know the answer.
that's okay.
You don't talk about how, well, back when I was a kid and my grandmother just came and lived with us, blah, 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 blah.
No,
So,
no.
I mean,
That's about you, not about them.
I thought I knew that 150.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I can see that, I wouldn't jump in on that, but you kind of see.
It's a way that because it goes back to your thoughts about what happened and what you did.
Relate to that.
Yeah. But, and
But you keep it.
a lot of things, a lot of situations that you go into, you're going to have experience. I mean, we've all lived a long time, and you're going to have experienced similar things. But you don't bring your situation and how you dealt with it and how you felt about it.
Even though you would be talking about it because you cared about her.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's how it's about. It needs to be about them. It needs to stay about them and their feelings and their. Okay, Robert. I think we.
Francis, what time did you say you had to leave? Okay. That's good. You already told me.
Okay. I'm leaving the same time she's leaving, but we're not leaving together.
I thought you were going to talk about you too.
We got been out in the hall.
Well, give me 2 minutes and let me go put the different cord because our computer just died.
We'll talk a little bit more about the
Yeah, you talk a little more about that and I'll grab the cord because the computer just died.
We'll just, you said ask the question, she was right down, I will help, but she didn't get all of it. She was wanting to know.
What did you say? I will help.
Oh,
She don't.
I don't remember. I talk so fast. My brain takes a while to catch up sometimes. I will help them explore their feelings. I will help them to verbalize what's going on, what their situation is, how she feels about it, and how she thinks. And you can't always just say, well, what do you think you should do? Because sometimes that makes them feel like the pressure is on for them to tell them what they. You might say, well, are there ways that you've tried to deal with this already that have or haven't worked? Or, it's good in a situation to get as much.
She's cold.
Well, I was going back there, and it's cooler back there. I would try to get them to verbalize as much as they can to help you to have a full picture of what's been going on and what how it all evolved. I mean, sometimes there's resentment there in that you were asked to begin with to take care of them. Well, that doesn't.
Do you need something?
Okay, that'll be fine. Thank you. That is relevant a lot of times in the conversation if you understand were they kind of pushed into doing this, or did they do it of their own free will? Because they may have resentment because, well, my husband just insisted that we had to take care of his mother and I didn't want to do that. Well, then you kind of know there's some resentment there and that there's, not that you can come out and say that, but it helps help them to explore that feeling a little more of, why they're feeling that way. And
She suggested.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Call out again.
Okay. I'll just grab your book right here and we'll just move on.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I hate that y'all.
It's fine. It's fine. I know Doyle's about to leave us, so I won't make him do it for sure. Let me just grab my.
Time here. I said, oh, you got it. They don't have to tell me everybody what time we got.
They weren't nurses.
I don't know about them like that, but I don't know that it's not.
My brother banked at that bank, so I know I had. I don't, so it's more likely yours than mine. Uh-huh,
About every 2 or 3 weeks, I put some in that top drawer.
uh-huh. Okay, good. That's good to know, because I quite often get here and don't have a pen.
Okay. All right, there you go. You're back up and running.
All right, very good. And I'm supposed to be on slide
Move
20.
it down a little.
If he slowed down, you would think it's he wouldn't do something.
No offense, I have found times when he would be cold and I would be on. This what we do.
Okay. Now, there again, because I know Francis is about to have to leave shortly, we can't do what the instructions say to do because you're supposed to form pairs and you just get started before you had to leave. So you three are just going to have to work together on this one and switch roles. Well, okay. I won't force you. I can't force you to do it. This has been kind of an odd day, so we're just doing things by our bootstraps and getting on with the way we can here. Okay, I'm going to read this, though it says what we're not doing. Now I'd like you to form pairs and spread out around the room. Once you're settled, quickly decide who will be person A and who will be person B. Okay, I think what we'll need to do is let A, B, C, and then we'll do A and B and C and role playing. And the other one can just be an observer because we don't have enough people to do the pairs.
What page are you on?
I'm not on the pages in your book.
Okay.
I'm just focus note 13, 15, 16.
Is that it?
Okay, we're gonna be working on focus note 13, 15, and 16 that you've just read in your book a few minutes ago. The ones that we were just talking about. The caregiver situation 2. And I got Robert's book, not mine. So, the 2 situations that we just talked about with the
girl, her mother.
Yeah, about Emma and Josh, whose youngest child had gone to college, the one that y'all did first, it's the focus note 15. And then the focus note 16 is the one we were just talking about Anna's mother-in-law. And let me get my book because I've got page numbers written in his stuff. So let me get my book. He brought his up there already. I thought I could just go with it, but I need mine. I write notes to myself because I don't remember very well. Okay. All right. Page 96 is the questions we're going to be using on focus note 17. All right. You're going to have an opportunity to practice a process approach to caring. In this exercise, each of you will have a chance to play the caregiver and the care receiver. When you play the role of the care receiver, you'll choose one of the 3 caregiving situations you just worked on involving Emma, Evan, and Anna, and play that role. Choose the situation you feel most comfortable with as a care receiver. And if needed, change the gender of the care receiver to match your own. Looks like most of you wouldn't have. Well, Evan, you might have to change, but if it's a male, change it to a female to fit you. If you choose the same situation, it don't matter. If you both all do the same ones, it's fine.
Okay, I can pick up now.
Okay, we just got down to the point of I had to go get my book because I got page numbers written in it. All right, we got down to page page 34. We just really got started about since Francis, they're supposed to form pairs, but since Francis is leaving, I tell them we just have to work with the three and
Right.
one A, B, and C, and then take turns who's the receiver and who's the caregiver.
Okay.
A and B, and then B and C,
Okay.
because we don't have enough people.
Right. Okay, great. All right, let's go ahead and pick up then, underneath, slide 20, where it says you're each going to have an opportunity. Page 30, well, in my book, it's 34. I'm not sure what page it is.
They don't have, that they don't have that.
Oh, that's right. They don't have this on there. That's right. All right. You're each going to have an opportunity to practice a process approach to caring. In this exercise, each of you will have a chance to play the caregiver and the care receiver. When you play the role of the care receiver, you'll choose one of the three caregiving situations you just worked on involving Evan, Emma, and Anna and play that role. Choose the situation you feel most comfortable with as a care receiver, and if needed, change the gender of the care receiver to match your own. If you and your partner choose the same situation, that's fine. There we go. For the first skill practice, person A, choose which one of you three is able. Just going to let you work as a threesome. Person A plays the role of the care receiver, and person B plays the Stephen minister. Person A, the person playing care receiver, chooses one of the care receiver situations and tell your partner which one you've chosen. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure. It probably makes sense. I'm just not catching. Which one of these are we gonna do?
Any one of them, you choose.
Skill, you get to choose from skill practice 1. I'm going to put up,
Choose this one, Evan, or this one, or this one.
So we all,
You can choose the same one, different.
choose who's going to, first choose someone to be the care receiver out of the three of you.
I could come sit in with Hazel,
Okay.
or we can move to another table.
Yeah, move over here.
I'll sit in with Hazel so that.
Okay.
One-on-one, if you want to come with me,
All right.
you and I will do it.
Yeah. If y'all can come over here.
It's easier to do it with, if they can each do the.
Right, so you're choosing a situation that involved Evan, Emma, and Anna. Person A, you're the care receiver. Choose whether you want to do Evan's, Emma's, or Anna's situation. And then B, you're the Stephen minister. And then how you would handle that.
You choose one.
Everybody got it? Okay, go ahead and assume that you've already greeted one another and get right to the challenging issue in the situation you chose. Okay? So, person A is care receiver, B is Stephen minister, Evan, Emma, or Anna's situation. Go ahead and start that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I ain't getting out. Yes. What did you just? You been qualified to do. You are. Maybe. You're a teacher, this.
You got about 1 minute left. You're fine. Come on through. Not interrupting a thing, do you? You're not interrupting a thing. Okay, now that you've done that one, person B, you now become the care receiver, and A, you become the Stephen minister. You have 5 minutes to do the same process approach with the care receiver. For this visit, assume you've already greeted one another and get right to whatever the challenging issue was involved. Stephen Minister, start by asking how the care receiver is feeling today. Go ahead and begin.
Overwhelmed. A lot of anxiety. Even. I had to give up somewhere else. Care for us. Although I'm the one that suggested that she have a sample. Bad. I just feel like it. Spend time with my husband, long trails. Yes, and all. Yes.
Um,
Do you need to get out most of the time? Just so. Yeah.
It's volunteer.
If you come in and where you can get up when they hire you, you know, you know, afraid something is. So, everybody else, and I feel it all out. I can't give up. Um, Or if you, there's, you mad at God too. Like this situation.
You've got a minute left. Okay, let's come back together. All right, now, hang on, just stay where you're at. Stay where you're at. Now discuss your skill practice using the question in Focus Note 17. Find Focus Note 17. All right. Discuss your skill practice using the question in Focus Note 17. You have 5 minutes. You may not make it all the way through the discussion questions. Just cover what you're able to cover. You've got 5 minutes. Go ahead. Discuss those questions. Ooh, drop it and tear it up, Robert.
That's
So I get some process. That was there.
You've got 1 minute. Folks, remember the exercise at the beginning of this module? How it felt when the caregiver focused on results? One of the advantages of practicing like this is it gives you the chance to be a care receiver as the caregiver. As you better understand what it's like to be on the receiving end of care, you will become more skilled at providing care. Now, let's move to the second skill practice. Let's find out where we are at. Okay. All right, for the second skill practice, person B, you play the role of the care receiver, and person A will play the Stephen minister. This time, person B, choose one of the care receiver situations and tell your partner which one you've chosen. Again, it can be the same as in a previous skill practice. We just did that, didn't we? Well, I thought so, but that's what's next on the page.
Well, you moved over to doing focus note 17 on 36, we just discussed the questions, discussion questions on focus note 17.
But 37 says to do that same thing again.
What's it?
35 and 37 are the same thing.
What page are you on?
I'm on page 37.
37?
Look at 35 and 37. And
It does say the same thing.
It does.
I guess after you discuss the questions, like they want to.
well, we're running a little late, so
I'm
let's
trying to
just.
say, well, I think we have to discussion.
Yeah.
So,
All right, well, let's all come together then and we'll do the review. And that'll get us back on kind of on schedule.
we definitely need.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to just go ahead and move to the review and the close.
I think
I think we've had a better.
It looks to me like 35 and 37 says the same thing. Because like y'all said, that's what you just did.
Yeah.
That's what you just did. So, Connie, page 35 and 37 seem to be the same thing. So we skipped 37. We skipped the next practice, and we are going into the caregiver's compass review now. Okay, so let's use the caregiver's compass to think about this module on a process approach to caring. You have a copy of the caregiver's compass on page 97 in your book. So turn to 97 with me, please. As we discuss the 4 points in the center of the compass, write words or sentences that summarize what you learned about each point. Let's begin with the point on top. What did you learn about being compassionate from this module? What did you learn about being compassionate? Well, gee, don't everybody talk at once because it's hard to understand. What did you learn about being compassionate today?
About how they feel in the situation.
Sure. Put yourself in their shoes. What does it feel like to be a care receiver? To be a good caregiver, you've got to have some idea of what it feels like to be in the other person's shoes. And you may have been there. You may be assigned a care receiver that is going through exactly what you have gone through. It allows you to be more compassionate because you've been there. You know the feelings. You know what it's like to experience what they're experiencing. What about being full of faith? Sandra, I think you're going to have to help them out.
You're on the compass now, right?
Yes, I'm on the compass. Page 40 in our book.
Okay, you got to pray for them
There you go. Pray for them.
before you go, and if they're open after a visit or two, you'll know if they're open to you praying with them. And
Right.
if they are, then sometimes if you get that point where they are obviously just very distraught, you say, well, would you like me just to pray with you? If you want us to go to God now, let's carry this to God, because you obviously are, you know, if you have scriptures that you can give them, if they're open to that. Some people don't want you books to them, they don't want anything. You'll run into people that are not very Christian.
Yeah. You're running to people who are not religious.
We don't only deal with Christians.
Nope.
We deal with anybody that needs help. So, you know, but if they're open to sharing scripture, and you know, sometimes in this work in a conversation, even if unless they told you they don't want you can quote scripture with them. Just let them know your faith, and maybe they'll share this.
Mm-hmm. What does it mean to be trustworthy? In what you've studied today, what does it mean to be trustworthy?
We gotta listen to what they have to say and keep it as a secret. You can't tell anybody unless they can tell.
Exactly. They don't want to hear about the problem from someone else. Which means that whatever they tell you stays between you and them. It stays between you and them. I skipped skilled. What did you learn about being skilled today?
What we've been doing all morning with learning to be process oriented and
Studying how to
not focus, or you learn the skills of being able to
get
help.
able to help them and not talk about yourself.
Exactly. Able to help them, not talk about yourself. When they tell you something, don't say, well, when I was 10 years old, that exact same thing happened. Let me tell you what I did. We can't do that. We can't do that.
Well, in this conversation, is it not kind of a turn off if you're talking to people and you really have something that's bothering you, and before you can even finish talking, they tell you Well, then that same thing happened to me.
Yeah.
It was-
Don't be that person that has a story for every story they tell you. Nothing is more aggravating than somebody telling you something, you telling someone that something you've gone through, and they always have a story to top your story. Don't ever be that person.
I have two friends, maybe one here at church and one up with you.
Mm-hmm.
Every time something comes up, they've got a better story.
Exactly.
Who it is or what it is,
They've always got it. Yeah, don't be that person. Because what'll happen is your care receiver will quit talking to you. They'll just quit talking to you. They won't tell you anything going on in their life because they know that you're going to have something worse than they did.
And it makes me feel worse.
And it makes them, exactly. Instead of comforting them, you're making them anxious, irritated, frustrated, all of that. All right, so let's look ahead for a moment. In our next two sessions, we'll be learning more about the topic of assertiveness. You'll need to complete the pre-class reading for part 1 of module 6. That is chapters 8 to 12, no, 8 through 11 in Caring Assertiveness.
Take place, not next Wednesday.
No, a week from today. 2 weeks from today.
So that will be what, day?
The third.
That'll be the 3rd. You need to read chapters 8 through 11.
Okay.
The one she's holding up, 8 through 11 of Caring Assertiveness.
That will be
You've already read the first part of the other assignment, so let's just finish up this book.
And be sure to bring that book with you for the next 2 sessions.
what book?
This is.
Caring Assertiveness.
Yeah.
That one. Be sure to bring that for the next 2 sessions. Be sure to read chapters 8 through 11 before we meet the week after Thanksgiving. As you reflect on your experience in this session, find ways to practice focusing on the process in your work, in your family relations, and everywhere in your daily lives. By focusing on the process, you may well be surprised with the very results you were hoping for. Let's bring our time together to close with a prayer. Lord God, we are able to step out as caregivers because you are with us, working in and through us. We know that we cannot achieve the caregiving results our care receivers need by ourselves, but we trust that you are at work through us and the caregiving process, and that you will bring about the results you want in your own time. Thank you for calling us and using us. Amen.
Where is that? Where it says concerning, relating, gently, and firmly, part 1.